I'm going to tell you a smart financial move that you can make today, and it's absolutely free. I'm going to tell you how to do it, why you should do it, and what happens if you need to use it if you do this. It's called freezing your credit. So, freezing your credit will allow no new accounts to be opened because there'll be no creditor that's able to check your credit unless you authorize it. And this will help prevent identity theft and fraud, and as well as it kind of stops you from making any impulse purchases where it requires you to open new credit. Like you're like, let me go buy a car today, or on my way home, I'm going to stop, and one of those, people at Kohl's or something are going to ask you, hey, do you want to open up a credit card to save 20%? Even at Target, anybody, all these stores have credit cards now, and they're always asking you if you want to open a new account. So this will stop you because in order for somebody to access your credit, you would have to unfreeze it. So let's talk about the freezing process. We know why we want to freeze it. It's going to prevent fraud, identity theft, and stop you from those impulse purchases. Now, how do you do it? You have to go to each individual credit bureau. So you have to go to Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion in order to freeze your credit. They all have a very simple online process. You will be required to put in your social security number and some other information, but it's pretty simple. It can be locked today. So if you start today, it can be locked today. And you're just going to have to be mindful from now on that in order for anyone, if you want to take out new credit, there'll be a process called thawing your credit. So say that you're ready to buy something, you are going to use credit, or you're applying for a credit card, you will have to thaw your credit with all the credit bureaus. And people don't do this often. That's why it's such a smart idea to keep your credit frozen. I think mine's been frozen for at least 5 years now. So when it's time for you to apply for credit, and sometimes you may forget, the creditor will remind you, I was applying for an investment loan with a lender and I totally forgot my credit was frozen. But when they went to go, so I did the complete application, knowing that they were going to check my credit. And the lender had to call me back, say, hey, your credit is frozen. I need you to unfreeze it. So I went ahead and I unfroze it at all of the credit bureaus. Some of them will allow you just to unfreeze it for like a day, and then they'll refreeze it for you. Some you're going to have to go back in to freeze it again. It just varies by site. But it's a really smart thing to do. I don't worry that much about my credit because I know that it's frozen. The people that you already have a credit relationship with, or say you have a mortgage, a car loan, or credit cards, they will still have access to your credit in order to, see what you're doing, and maybe you qualify for maybe a credit line increase. They send you those offers, that sort of thing. They will still have access to your credit, but nobody can open new credit in your name because they can't access your reports. And that's usually a major requirement of, getting new credit, is that they're going to check your credit scores. So this is, again, something very simple, very free. There's no reason not to freeze your credit unless you're in like a financial transaction, like you're buying a house right now, you're buying a car right now, and people are going to have to access your credit more frequently. But as soon as you're finished with that transaction, go ahead and refreeze your credit. So most of us should have our credit frozen all of the time, and there's no reason not to. So go ahead and get this done today. If you have any questions, please put in the comment section, and in the description of this video, I'm going to have a link to all the credit bureaus and how you can freeze your credit. Thank you so much.